welcome to Screen Talk with yours truly, Nomfanelo. So, I'll be continuing my predictions for the Emmy Awards. Now, I previously did video where I talked about the limited categories, so you could check that out if you haven't done so. So, with this video, I'll be doing predictions for the comedy categories. So, let's have some fun with this, shall we? So, let's start off with Outstanding Writing for a Comedy Series. The nominees are Abbott Elementary, Back to School, written by Quinta Brunson, Hacks, A Slippery Slope, written by Lucia Aniello, Paul W. Downs, and Jen Statsky, The Rehearsal, Pilot's Code, written by Nathan Fielder, Carrie Kemper, Adam Locke Norton, and Eric Notar Nicola. Somebody Somewhere, AGG, written by Hannah Boss, Paul Thurine, and Bridget Everett. The Studio, The Promotion, written by Seth Rogen, Evan Goldberg, Peter Heitch, Alex Gregory, and Frida Perez. And What We Do in the Shadows, the finale, written by Sam Johnson, Sarah Naftalis, and Paul Sims. And in terms of previous Emmy wins and nominations, Quinta Brunson, she won this category back in 2022 for Abbott Elementary. Lucia Aniello, Paul W. Downs, and Jen Statsky, they won this category in 2021 and 2024. They were nominated in 2022. Nathan Fielder has two Emmy nominations. Carrie Kemper won an Emmy as a co-executive producer in Beef for the Outstanding Limited or Anthology Series. Adam Locke Norton was nominated as an editor for The Rehearsal. Eric No Tarnacola was nominated in 2019 as an editor for Who is America. Seth Rogen has been nominated for 5 Emmys. Evan Goldberg has 4 Emmy nominations. Peter Hoyt won 2 Emmys, and Alec Gregory won 2 Emmys. Sam Johnson was nominated in 2020. Sarah Naftalis was nominated in 2022. Paul Sims nominated in 2020. All three of those for the same category. Alrighty, so interesting. So I would say so with Quinta Brunson for Albert Elementary. I think what works in her favor here is that she's the lone nominee, while everyone else in this category, there's multiple writers involved. So I think that could work to her advantage. But however, I'm not sure if she has a shot winning in this category just based off competition. For What We Do in the Shadows, I'm not sure if that has a shot either, just given the visibility of that show. The Rehearsal, I have not seen The Rehearsal, but I hear like it's quite divisive and all that stuff. So I'm not too sure if that has a shot either. So I think it's going to be between The Studio and Hacks. Now, the writers involved here, they won before twice and they were nominated before. Um, but The Studio, I think, yeah, that got the most nominations for in the comedy categories, essentially. Um, the promotion, that was a good episode with them. I really loved The Studio myself. So in terms of my pick, I would go with The Studio, and in terms of who I think will win, I'm gonna give it to The Studio. Why not? So my prediction for this category is The Studio. All right, let's go to Outstanding Directing for a Comedy Series. The nominees are The Bear, Napkins, directed by Ayo Edebiri, Hacks, A Slippery Slope, directed by Lucia Aniello, Mid-Century Modern, Here's to You, Mrs. Schneiderman, directed by James Burrows, The Rehearsal, Pilot's Code, directed by Nathan Fielder, and The Studio, The Oneer, directed by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg. Now, in terms of previous Emmy wins and nominations, Christopher Storer, he's not nominated here, but he did win for The Bear in this category back in 2023 and 2024. Lucia Aniello won in 2021 in this category and was nominated in 2022 and 2024. James Burrows, he's won 11 Emmys thus far and an honorary Emmy. Nathan Fielder has two Emmy nominations. Seth Rogen has been nominated for 5 Emmys. Evan Goldberg has been nominated for 4 Emmys. Alrighty. So I think mid-century modern, even though with James Burrows has won a lot of Emmys and all that stuff, I don't think that has a shot of winning here. Just because based off from the other categories, I haven't seen many for that show, so I don't think that's going to happen. I think not the studio, the rehearsal. I'm not too sure about that one either, given the apparent divisiveness, I guess, of that show, from what I've heard. Now, with The Bear, I've never seen The Bear. I can't comment on this myself, but from what I'm hearing, what people are saying is that it's not an actual comedy, which makes me question why is it nominated in the comedy categories. I guess it has enough comedy, I guess, to pass as a comedy. I don't know, but that's how people are describing that it's not fully a comedy. So I don't know, but I don't think it has a shot on winning here. It's probably going to be between Hacks and The Studio. I would say my pick is The Studio, The Oneer. I would say that that was a solid episode with that one. So I'm also gonna go it with the prediction here. So the final prediction here, The Studio for the win. Alrighty, let's get into Outstanding Guest Actor in a Comedy Series. The nominees are John Bernthal for The Bear, Bryan Cranston for The Studio, Dave Franco for The Studio, Ron Howard for The Studio, Anthony Mackie for The Studio, and Martin Scorsese for The Studio. And in terms of previous Emmys, wins, and nominations, John Bernthal, he won in this category back in 2024. He was also nominated back in 2023. Bryan Cranston has won 6 Emmys for Breaking Bad. Dave Franco has been nominated before as executive producer in the for Pam and Tommy when it was nominated for Outstanding Limited or Anthology Series. Ron Howard has won 3 Emmys and an honorary Emmy, and Martin Scorsese has won 3 Emmys. Alrighty, so essentially is John Bernthal versus the studio, essentially. I think John Bernthal could have a shot here because since he is like the lone nominee for the Bear, so it's possible that he could repeat here. And I guess what could work to his advantage is that with everyone else in the category could possibly cancel each other out. I think yeah, Bryan Cranston has a shot amongst the people for the studio. I think also too maybe Ron Howard could take it for the studio because I thought when he appeared, I thought that whole episode he did was hilarious. Martin Scorsese for me also too stood out in that show for the first episode. It was great. Dave Franco was quite hilarious, particularly with the CinemaCon episode. I thought that was hilarious. And Anthony Mackie, like he did pretty good too, as well too in the studio. So in terms of my personal pick, I don't know. I would. It's hard because I have several favorites here. I'll probably I don't know. I mean, I kind of want to like say Martin Scorsese as my personal pick, but they're all pretty good though. I would be happy if either one of them wins. So I'll probably say It's between Martin Scorsese and Bryan Cranston in terms of my picks. But in terms of who I'm gonna predict in this category, I'll say Bryan Cranston for the win because he at least he's playing a different character, which could help him win in this category. So I'll go with that. All right, let's get into Outstanding Guest Actress in the Comedy Series. The nominees are Olivia Colman for The Bear, Jamie Lee Curtis for The Bear, Cynthia Erivo for Poker Face, Robbie Hoffman, Hacks, Zoe Kravitz for The Studio, and Julianne Nicholson for Hacks. Alrighty, and then in terms of previous Emmy wins and nominations, Olivia Colman was nominated in this category back in 2024. Jamie Lee Curtis, she won in this category back in 2024. Um, for Hacks, Laurie Metcalf, she won in this category for Hacks. She's not nominated here. Cynthia Erivo was nominated previously for Outstanding Lead Actress in Limited or Anthology Series for Genius Aretha back in 2021. And Julianne Nicholson, because she's double nominated, she's nominated for Paradise, but she previously won Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Limited or Anthology Series for Mayor of Easttown back in 2021. Alrighty, so yeah, I'm not sure if the bear could take this. Again, I have not seen the bear, and yeah, just based on what I'm hearing with the bear, that it's not fully a comedy and all that stuff. I think that could possibly hurt it here. So I'm not too. So I don't think either of the bear nominees would win here, in my opinion. Um, Zoe Kravitz, she's great in the studio, but I'm not sure if she has a shot here because she is playing, I guess, a version of herself, even though it's not 100%. Um, so possibly like with the two hacks people, Robbie Hoffman or Julianne Nicholson. Now, Julianne Nicholson, she has won an Emmy before, and she's also double nominated, so I think that could help. But I hear like Robbie Hoffman, she's hilarious in the show with Hacks, so I'm not really sure. But I think Cynthia Erivo has a shot because even though Poker Face was not widely nominated, from what I've seen so far, but I think because she plays multitude of characters, could really help her here. So I think in terms of my pick, since I've only seen the studio, I'm gonna go with Zoe Kravitz here for my pick. But in regards to the prediction, I'm gonna go with Cynthia Erivo for Poker Face. And I imagine most people will probably either predict either what Jamie Lee Curtis for the Bear or maybe Julianne Nicholson for Hacks. Because if either of them win, great. But yeah, I'm going with Cynthia Erivo here for Poker Face. So I've not seen the show, but I hear that she's great with her episodes. So and she plays I guess different characters here, so I guess that could help to her advantage here. So there's that. All right, let's go to Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series. The nominees are Ike Barinholtz for The Studio, Coleman Domingo for The Four Seasons, Harrison Ford, Shrinking, Jeff Heller, Somebody Somewhere, Ebon Moss-Bachrach, The Bear, Michael Urie, Shrinking, and Bowen Yang for Saturday Night Live. And in terms of previous Emmy wins and nominations, so Coleman Domingo, he won back in 2022 for Outstanding Guest Actor in a Drama Series for Euphoria. Ebon Moss-Bachrach, he won in this category for 2023 and 2024. And Bowen Yang, he was nominated in 2021, 2022, and 2024. Alrighty, so interesting. So I'm not. So Coleman Domingo seems like he's the lone nominee for the Four Seasons. I'm not familiar with the show except that it's on Netflix. I think Tina Fey and Steve Carell are in the show, from my understanding. So I don't think he has a shot here. Jeff Hiller, many say that he's the surprise nominee. This is for Somebody Somewhere. I'm not familiar with that show except that I know that it's on HBO. So I don't think he has a shot at winning here. Um, and then yeah, Bowen Yang SNL. I get that like if SNL had like their biggest season essentially with the 50th anniversary and all this stuff, but I don't know if Bowen Yang can win himself for this category, just given off competitions. So I don't think him. For the Shrinking people, I have not watched Shrinking, but I hear it's sort of like a dramedy situation, but lean more towards comedy. Um, so maybe yeah, Harrison Ford could take this. But for me, I would say my opinion, who I think will win in terms of my pick, and who I'm predicting to win here is Ike Barinholtz for the studio. He's hilarious in that show as Sal Saperstein. Oh yeah, and that moment for the Golden Globes episode was hilarious with the whole Sal Saperstein bit. Gee, if they did that for the Emmys, it'd be funny. But it would be more hilarious if that were to happen for the Golden Globes, which happens in a couple months. I imagine the show will be nominated there. So, I mean, that would be the cherry on top if that were to happen at the Golden Globes. But yeah, because I bet some people are probably going to predict Harrison Ford for Shrinking. If he wins, great. But I'm going with Ike Barinholtz for the studio as my pick here. Alrighty. So let's go with Outstanding Supporting Actress in the Comedy Series. The nominees are Liza Colin Zayas for The Bear, Hannah Einbinder for Hacks, Catherine Hahn, The Studio, Janelle James for Abbott Elementary, Catherine O'Hara for The Studio, Shirley Ralph, Abbott Elementary, and Jessica Williams for Shrinking. And in terms of previous Emmys wins and nominations, Liza Colin Zayas, she won last year in 2024. Hannah Einbinder, she was nominated in 2021, 2022, and 2024. Catherine Hahn has been nominated for 3 Emmys. Janelle James, she was nominated in this category in 2022, 2023, and 2024. Catherine O'Hara has won 2 Emmys. Shirley Ralph won in 2022, is nominated in 2023 and 2024. And Jessica Williams was nominated in this category in 2023. Alrighty, very talented people here. Yeah, this is tough. So I'm not sure about Jessica Williams winning here for Shrinking, just based off the competition here. For the Abbott ladies, I don't think either has a shot here. But if I were to say which one of the two has the better shot, I would probably say Janelle James. Just based off her arc with the past season. But I guess Shirley Ralph has a shot here as well too because she has won before. With Catherine Hahn, she's funny in the studio, but I don't know if she can win per se here. I think just based on I don't know. Like I don't think she has a shot here, but if she does win, great. And I bet some people are going to predict Hannah Einbinder to win here for Hacks. Now, I have not seen the show, so I can't comment on the quality of the show, but I hear some say that she's more of a co-lead than supporting with that show because I guess it's advertised as like a two-hander between her and Jean Smart. So I don't know. With Liza, I mean, it's possible that she could win again, but again, though, with the Bear, I hear that with the previous season was a bit underwhelming. So, and also too, is it really a comedy with that show? I don't know. So for me, I'm gonna go with Catherine O'Hara as my prediction here. And in terms of my pick here, gee, that's tough. Like I would go with Janelle James as my pick because she's hilarious in Abbott Elementary. But yeah, I would say my pick Janelle James. But for the prediction, I'm going with Catherine O'Hara. There's that. Alrighty. Outstanding lead actor in a comedy series. The nominees are Adam Brody for Nobody Wants This, Seth Rogen for Studio, Jason Segel for Shrinking, Martin Short, Only Murders in the Building, and Jeremy Allen White for The Bear. All right, and in terms of previous Emmy wins and nominations, as I've said before, Seth Rogen has been nominated for 5 Emmys. Jason Segel was nominated in this category in 2023. Martin Short has been nominated in this category since 2022. And Jeremy Allen White, he won in 2023 and 2024. Alrighty. So I believe Martin Short, he won the SAG Award earlier this year for Only Murders in the Building. I guess many would consider it to be a surprise since I guess the show never really wins much award given the competition and all that stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up winning here because I think the SAG one could definitely work to his advantage. But again, the with SAG that happened back in February, and this was under different competition. So I don't know if he'll be able to pull it off here. With Jeremy Allen White, he has won before, but I don't know if that'll happen again. Again, given with I hear The Bear was underwhelming with the recent season, and then also too, is it really a comedy with that show? I don't know if Jason Segel could take this for Shrinking. I have not seen Shrinking, so I can't comment. If nobody wants this, I managed to watch that earlier this year, and man, that show was a delight to watch. And I thought Anna Brody here did a great job playing the co-lead here. Because I would love to see him win. I don't know if he has a genuine shot here, but yeah, I would love to see Adam Brody win. But I think Seth Rogen has a good shot winning here. I think because with the studio being nominated a lot helps, and essentially he has a lot of nominations for the studio, so it's possible with Seth Rogen can win more than 1 Emmy for the studio. Um, yeah, I think in terms of my pick, gee, this is tough. So I'm between Adam Brody and Seth Rogen as my pick, for different reasons. So I don't know. I'm gonna go with my pick for two, or I'll just let me do this. For my pick, I'll say Adam Brody for Nobody Wants This, but for the prediction, I'm going with Seth Rogen for the studio. Now it's possible that since he's nominated in other categories, it's possible that he could lose here because I'm also thinking of Quinta Brunson when she was nominated with Abbott. I think was the first time they showed up because I believe she won for writing but did not win an acting. I don't remember if it was the same year where she won both or if it was 1 year for writing, 1 year for acting. But yeah, it's possible that Seth Rogen he could end up winning the nominations that he's nominated for. So yeah, there is that. Yeah, that's all I have to say here. All right, let's go to outstanding lead actress in a comedy series. So the nominees are Uzo Aduba for The Residents, Kristen Bell for Nobody Wants This, Quinta Brunson for Abbott Elementary, Io Edebiri for The Bear, and Jean Smart for Hacks. So, in terms of previous Emmy wins and nominations, Aduba, she won 3 Emmys. Quinta Brunson, she won back in 2023. She was nominated in 2022 and 2024. Io Edebiri, she won for supporting actress in 2023, but she was nominated in this category for 2024. And Jean Smart has won in 2021, 2022, and 2024. Mm-hmm. So I want to first talk about Uzu Aduba. Like, I was surprised that she got nomination for The Residents because it seemed like after Netflix decided to cancel that show, I thought it wasn't going to show up at all with that show. But I'm glad that she ended up getting nominated here. So I thought she was fantastic on that show. Now it's possible that she could win because I think the show is nominated in other tech categories if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I would say she has a shot at winning here. I don't know if it's a strong chance, but yeah, she I would say she's quite up there. Kristen Bell, I really liked her in Nobody Wants This, and I can't believe this is her first nomination, which is insane. But in terms of winning chances, I don't know. I'm not sure really, but yeah, I'll be happy if she wins. Quinta Brunson, she has won before, and yeah, she's always a delight to watch on Abbott Elementary. I wouldn't mind if she wins here, but I don't know if she has a good shot, just given the competition and all that stuff. Of Ayo Edebiri, I've not seen The Bear, but I hear that she's one of the standouts of that show. So, but I don't know if that's going to happen here, just given based off the reception of the previous season. And it seems like the logical thing to do is to predict Jean Smart, because it seems like every time that she's nominated for Hack, she always ends up winning. Even though if let's say like this season is not that strong, I think she has a good shot of winning here. So it seems like the logical thing to do is just predict her to win. Now, in terms of my personal pick, I would say it's probably between Uzu Aduba and Kristen Bell. But I'll give it to Uzu Aduba for The Residents because I really enjoyed her like on that show, and it's just unfortunate that it got canceled after 1 season. But yeah, I would say that that's my pick, Uzu Aduba. But I would say for the prediction, I'm going with Gene Smart Hacks. And then lastly, Outstanding Comedy Series. So the nominees are Abbott Elementary, The Bear, Hacks, Nobody Wants This, Only Murders in the Building, Shrinking, The Studio, and What We Do in the Shadows. All right. And in terms of previous Emmy wins and nominations, Abbott Elementary has been nominated since 2022. The Bear won in 2023, but was nominated in 2024. Hacks won in 2024, but was nominated in 2021 and 2022. Only Murders in the Building has been nominated since 2022. And What We Do in the Shadows has been nominated in 2020, 2022, and 2024. Alrighty, let me just take a drink. I think in terms of least likely, I think What We Do in the Shadows, I don't think it has a shot. Same with Nobody Wants This, even though it's a good show. I don't see it winning. With Abbott, I don't see it winning either, even though it's a good show. I think The Bear, I don't see it at all. I don't think Shrinking has a shot. I think it's going to be between Hacks and the studio. And I'm going with the studio here. Like I'm going with the studio as both my pick and prediction because it's just a phenomenal show. If that one, um, I don't really have much like negatives about that show, honestly. I guess like if you're not really, fans of shows like I guess about Hollywood, then it'll turn people off. But not for me. I don't mind that stuff. I guess like you could say that with Hacks and the Studio are a bit similar, but different fractions. I would say because Hacks leans more towards the stand-up world, from what I'm hearing, while the Studio focuses more on the film world per se. So yeah. But it's possible that if, let's say, people can't decide between those two shows, I could see, I don't know, maybe Shrinking can take it, or yeah, I would love to see Nobody Wants This, but yeah, but for this category, my pick and the prediction, I'm going with the Studio. Yay, there is that. So that's concludes, I guess, this video for my predictions. So as I said in the previous video, a few of the categories will be, I guess, announced for the Creative Emmy Awards. And I guess once those are announced, I will make a video where I'll discuss that stuff. And I think that's it really. But yeah, like part three, I'll be focusing on drama categories because I feel like with this year with the drama categories, there's the drama in drama, if you know what I mean. Because with some of the stuff there in that category, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to predict, but hopefully fun, rewarding. We'll see. So that's pretty much it for this video. I would love to know what are your thoughts. Who do you think is going to win here? Who are you rooting for? Let me know in the comments section. If you want to support me, you can visit buymeacoffee.com/Nomfanelo, where you could donate, but also to look at the post there and also follow me there. Um, I have my community page on YouTube where you could post there just as long as it's under community guidelines. If you want to follow me, my on social media, my links are in the description. So I want to say thank you so much for tuning in, and I can't wait to see you for part three of this video.